Hey Blue Table fans, I am doing some repairs today. This is an oval base, by the way. You're looking at a Age of Sigmar figure. So anywho, this is all pretty simple stuff. I'm just going to dry fit this guy on here. See where I can get the best contact points. It looks like that. Alright, so basically the two types of glue that I use is super glue. Zap-A-Gap is a great brand, love it. And Tester's Cement for Plastic, or AKA plastic glue. There you go, you can actually see that now. The red kind really is the best kind. Oh, and I'm also going to need an X-Acto blade, which I'll go grab that now. Always keep a couple of those on hand. And away we go. So I'm going to control, now you can use any type of object like a toothpick or whatever as a dipstick. So I just put the super glue on the palette, and then that way you don't have trouble controlling the flow of the super glue. Now in this case I'm going to use the dipstick method. It'll work slightly better if I scrape off the old glue on the bottoms of this guy's feet. Now, super glue does not stick well to dried super glue, by the way. So the dipstick method is basically, oh, and this whole guy is like coming off here. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and just, yeah, see how he's coming off there? I'm going to go ahead and just grab some glue here with this little mini trowel. You do not need this, just like a toothpick or a, or you can take an old paintbrush and sort of whittle it down. There you go. So now he's stuck on there. I'll just wait for that to dry naturally because he already is kind of stuck on there already. So I just dip his feet into the glue. And hey Heather, how you doing? What? Oh, what are you eating? I'm making a video. What you eating?
Last piece of bacon.
Ah, yeah. Putting bacon on things is cheating, I've determined, because bacon makes everything taste awesome. You know, so you can't be like, oh, I invented this dish, it has bacon in it, it's so delicious. Like, well, of course it's delicious. You could have just had the bacon and nothing else, and it would have worked. So anyway, alright, so I'm going to get some Catalyst. Now, Catalyst is a product that makes super glue dry instantaneously. So let's say I were going to super glue my hands together. So I would take, I would take super glue, put it on one side, and then I'd put just a tiny little bit of Catalyst on the other side. And when I stuck them together, the part that touched the Catalyst would seal instantaneously, but the other part would cure naturally for a stronger bond. The downside of Catalyst is it creates a slightly brittle bond. So you'll notice I only did it on one foot, and then that made him stick. And I'm just going to set this guy aside. Oh no, wait, I got to glue on his axe too, or his hammer. Now the thing with super glue, okay, how do I explain this? If you're gluing plastic to plastic, then you use plastic glue. And everything else uses super glue. So, and don't confuse resin for plastic, because it is definitely a different animal. So this plastic glue, and I just put a little bit on my palette here. I'm just going to slightly, ever so slightly dip a little bit onto the hammer, and then I'll stick the hammer on the way I want. Now if it doesn't stick right away, and it's not, you pull it apart, blow on it a little bit, and that makes the glue tacky. And you can basically just do that until it sticks on. Alright, that is not the best join, but it will definitely when it cures, it'll really melt that plastic together. All right, I'm going to keep an eye on this guy to make sure that hammer glues on straight. All right, let's take a look at the rest of our guys here. Here we've got an infantry stuck on him. This guy's just a little loose, so I'm going to go ahead and pull him off the rest of the way and dipstick him. I'll just put a lot of glue on each foot. More is not necessarily better, but I think in this case, in order to fill the gaps, that's really what I'm going to have to do. So I'm just going to put them together, coax a little catalyst into the cracks there. Blow it in. There you go. That's like another way to do it. And there you go. He's sticking on there quite handsomely. I am actually going to coax in some glue directly from the side. And that's a little heavy-handed, but I think in this case, gently putting that in there. Now, what I could do is I could take sand and I could just put it like, almost like pinching salt. I could put sand in there and it would create a cement with the super glue. Of course, I would have to paint over that, which is what I'm trying to avoid doing here. All right, let's keep going. Let's see, this guy just needs his shield glued back on, and I do believe the shield is right here. How do those shields go on? Oh, I see it now. Oh, it just goes, yeah, it literally goes over his hand. Okay, well, I'll just grab my trowel. And by the way, you can take an old paintbrush. I'm putting catalyst on the other side. So catalyst is the big news here, by the way. So anyway, you can take an old paintbrush and you can whittle it down into like a useful shape. Oh, here's another guy with no shield. Oh, and here's a bunch of shields. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my super glue. Now this is super glue gel, I do believe. Is it? Nope. Just super glue. Let's get more on my palette. And I'm going to just gently put on a tiny little bit. You don't need a lot. Getting the right amount of super glue on really is the critical thing. So this army, by the way, it consists of, I think, like 40 or 50 models, storm casts. Got this on a trade. And I am going to be probably keeping this because I love painted models, guys. I love them so much. It's really fantastic, and it's hard to find them. Alright, so I'll use the dipstick method on this guy. I just sort of gently, without blobbing it on, I just gently get the glue on to where it should go. And I'll stick them on. There you go. And then get a little bit of catalyst on here. Tease it in from the side. Blow it in just a little bit. And there you go. And then that makes that adhere instantaneously. And then on the other foot, it's curing naturally. So the catalyst really is only just to sort of hold everything in place while it dries. And what you're seeing me use, it's a slightly different method. Not everybody does this. Like, instead of taking the glue bottle and like gluing it, each thing on directly, I'm using a slightly different method. I'm almost out of the zip kicker. It doesn't take very much to do its job, though. Okay, stick that guy's shield on. Ta-da! There we go. He's done. So each repair only takes like 60 seconds, like at most. This is not like a hugely time-consuming process. Of course, setting it up and having the know-how, that's different as well. So usually when you send your models in to us, we don't give you a hard time if there's been some breakage on the way. In fact, most of the time, you won't even know. Like, we won't be like, oh, hey, by the way, a lot of your models broke on the way, you know, or charge you for it. Sometimes, yeah, if there's like a lot. But usually not. And the reverse is true too. Like, usually clients, they get their stuff and, you know, no matter how well you pack it, a few things might come off and you just have to repair it. It's just part of the maintenance of owning an army, really, because inevitably it's sort of like, you know, everything sort of breaks down. Ooh, that has specific spots. Does that guy go on there? Yeah, he can. I'm going to have to do some painting touch-ups on these guys, like, anyway, so there's really no way around it. Here we go. All right. Yeah, the next step for these guys is to get out my paints and actually go over them. I usually end up using these types of figures for like D&D. Oh, here's one where the tip of the arrow has come off. Let's see if I can find the arrow in here. Come on now. I knew I found, yep, there it is. Now this is a case where you would use plastic glue, because plastic, when it breaks, reveals some of the plastic underneath. So we'll just do like a tiny little bit here. Just get it off. There we go. Okay. Oh, there it is. So, and that's stuck. The plastic glue is just fantastic for repairing things. But I'm going to keep him nearby, and this guy's, just to sort of watch that. This guy's hammer's a little off, but the glue is already the plastic glue is already starting to melt that plastic. So I'm just going to sort of tease it into the right position there and let it continue melting. And when I go and I put a little paint on primer, sealer is what it's called, and then paint on top of that, and that'll actually form a skin and help it even more to stay on. All right, wow, I'm actually in the home stretch with these repairs. I'm just going to keep going. So super glue doesn't adhere well to dried super glue, but it will adhere to paint. So that is really, so it's okay. You don't have to scrape it down all the time. All right, here's like some lantern bearer guy. All right, there's that. Looks like another guy off his base. I am going to take an X-Acto knife and pare off some of that gunk on the bottom of his foot. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to get his feet to cover the bald spots. There we go. Some guy with a giant mace. These guys are awesome. I'll have to learn the names of all these. But again, I usually just use them for D&D. Oh, this guy didn't need a repair at all. This bird creature, I'm actually going to mount him separately on something and have him be like on a flying base. In fact, let's just do that now. I really should drill this in, but I don't know. I'm not. Feels like this really isn't thick enough to accept. Well, actually, it would. Yeah, I really should drill that in. All right, we're almost done here, guys. Oh, this guy's little quiver came off. So let's. I think that's. Yep, that's definitely how it goes. So let's use our trowel. Gently get the glue on. Maybe get a little catalyst on this other piece. Not much, doesn't take much. Although the catalyst does evaporate nicely. All right. And then here's the next one. All right, you know what, guys? I am going to go. I hope this has been slightly useful. I just sort of thought maybe this might help somebody, and decided to just throw it up. So thanks for tuning in. and I hope you got your useful information for the day.